Tonight, on this edition of John Ankerberg, three influential guests will answer the question, is the New Age movement influencing the church? John's first guest is controversial author Dave Hunt, a man who has warned the church of the consequences of the New Age movement through his best-selling books, The Seduction of Christianity and Beyond Seduction. John's second guest is Brooke, a man who has come out of the New Age movement. Mystical experiences led him to India, where he became a disciple of Sai Baba, one of India's most powerful miracle-working gurus. John's third guest is Brooks Alexander, co-founder and senior researcher for the nationally known Spiritual Counterfeits Project of Berkeley, California. Before becoming a Christian, Brooks embraced the religious worldview of the New Age movement and participated in mystical out-of-body experiences. Many of the people mentioned in tonight's program were extended an invitation to join our guests for this taping, but they declined. Our invitation remains open to them and to other responsible spokesmen to present their views in future programs. And be sure to stay tuned to find out how you can receive your personal free copy of the new Anchor book entitled The Facts on False Teaching in the Church. This timely book documents how the errors of the health and wealth gospel, possibility thinking, see faith thinking, inner guides, and inner healing are now influencing hundreds, even thousands of our churches. Join us for this edition of John Ankerberg.
Hi, we're back, and we're talking about the New Age ideas that are coming into the church. And I'm sure that most of you have seen Napoleon Hill's book, Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, or some of his other books. Do you know what the basis of his philosophy, where it came from? He says, now and again I've had evidence that unseen friends hover about me, unknowable to ordinary senses. In my studies I discovered there is a group of strange beings who maintain a school of wisdom which must be 10,000 years old. Here's how I found out. A voice spoke. I saw nobody. I cannot tell you whence the voice came. He goes on, he says, I came to see unseen speakers. They materialized. And they said, I come from the great school of the masters. I am one of the council of 33 who serve the great school. And it's initiates on the physical plane. And he goes on to describe how these spirit guides, these spirit beings, materialized in front of him, talked with him, and gave him the philosophy of Think and Grow Rich, his book, which influenced people like Clement Stone, who then went on to influence people like Norman Vincent Peale, who then went on to influence people like Robert Schuller. We're talking about how this has come from our secular culture, who have embraced the ideas that there are spirit guides, that there are these untapped powers that can help us. We can look within and we can reach a new level of human potential. I want to talk about these spirit guides. What else would you suggest, Dave, are examples of this coming right into the church?
Well, you know, John, first of all, I wonder, what do leading businessmen out there think? Because that book, Think and Grow Rich, has impacted the lives of more chairmen of the board, presidents of major corporations. What do they really believe in a temple of wisdom out there, and masters from this school who can come across the astral plane? And they said to Napoleon Hill in a vibrant voice, you have been under the guidance of the great school for years, and we have chosen you to give the formula of success to the world. So the formula of success, literally given by demons to Napoleon Hill, became the foundation of the entire PMA, success motivation world out there that's studied by businessmen. Now, Napoleon Hill is dead, but his ideas live on. And one of the ways they live on is through the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which is headed by a gentleman named W. Clement Stone, who is on Schuller's board and so forth. The Napoleon Hill Foundation gives an annual gold medal award, the Napoleon Hill Gold Medal Award. And to receive this, you must give public testimony of the benefits you've gotten from Napoleon Hill's teaching. In 1986, I don't know about 87, I've been out of the country for the last 6 weeks, but in November 1986, the recipient that year was Robert Schuller. And he got it in Dallas at a banquet that was co-sponsored by the Napoleon Hill Foundation and the Dallas Baptist University. Okay? So these things, again, are coming right into the Church of Jesus Christ.
Again, we've asked Robert Schuller to be a guest and appear and talk about these things, and he also declined our invitation. It's been for 24 months that we've invited some of these men to appear. They will not debate these issues. Keep going.
Now, what's happening, John, it's incredible. Just going back to the secular world again for a moment, here's a book by Dr. Errol R. Korn and Karen Johnson called Visualization, the Uses of Imagery in the Health Professions. He's one of our top physicians in Southern California. And this is for medical doctors, and he is teaching them how to teach their patients to contact these spirit guides. And he says, when you become aware of this guide, you get in a state of consciousness, establish contact, find out what its name is, what its purpose is. You do this by actually talking with the creature. It could be human or animal and so forth. And then he says, you must realize that this guide can provide support, protection, messages that will solve the client's problems. He can give total symptom removal to the client. What does the medical doctor think he's doing? Well, whatever he thinks he's in touch with, I can tell you what the Christians think they're in touch with. So here I've got an excerpt from a book written for youth ministers, an evangelical book for youth ministers. It gives you a yoga breathing exercise, how to get into this relaxed state of consciousness. And it says, when you've done this breathing exercise several times, image God. But you don't have to know the Bible very well to know that it's an abomination to form an image of God. And you say, well, we're not forming it out of wood or clay or stone, just in our mind. Every image formed out of wood or clay or stone was first of all formed in the mind, okay? This is mental idolatry. But it gets a little worse. He says, when the image is clear, focus on it. Eventually, it will speak to you. Now, we've made contact with the spirit world. And we've got some entity here that is literally speaking and guiding us. I guarantee you it is not God and it is not Jesus. You cannot call God up in that way. Just as an example, Jeremiah, who certainly was a man of God, in the 42nd chapter of Jeremiah, the Jews asked him, go to your God and ask him directions and we'll do what he says. So, of course, Jeremiah immediately went into his alpha levels and he visualized God and so forth. No, it says, verse 7 of chapter 42 says, after 10 days, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying. We're being taught today that you can call from the right hand of God anytime you want the Son of God as your private guru to appear before you. You've got control, and you can visualize him, and there he is, and this is the real Jesus. It's astonishing. One of the teachers of this is Mark Virkler in Orchard Park near Buffalo, New York, an Assembly of God. Tommy Reed is the head pastor there. And they're teaching courses. It's called the Association of Church-Centered Bible Schools. You've got churches across America and Canada who are saying, fantastic, we can tap into this thing. They've got a curriculum, and we can be part of this big organization. And one of their major courses is called Beyond Academics to Spirit Encounter. And he says, we teach you how to get in two-way dialogue with God. And you can visualize Jesus, you can visualize God, and you can get this voice will speak to you, and so forth. It's the same demonism that's being taught out there in the secular world that the secular world is buying, and now we're embracing it in the Church of Jesus Christ.
Leviticus says, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. We're going to talk more about this next week, and we're going to talk about some of our preachers who are saying, every one of you who are Christians are entitled to be wealthy. Every one of you who are Christians are entitled to be in good health. And if you're not, you don't have enough faith. We're going to talk about that kind of theology next week. Please join us.